Thank you, Tyler. Good afternoon, everybody. I think we hit a milestone. If it's not been mentioned today and you don't know, you should know that healthcare blockchain has made the Gartner hype chart there. We came right in at the bottom and we're starting to climb the hype chart before we go into the valley of disillusionment. So that's quite an accomplishment that we've made the grade in a way. So I know it's been a long day. I've been through a couple of blockchain conferences. First off, I do want to thank BTC Media for the opportunity to be here, not only for this event, but for introducing myself and a number of colleagues to the broader world of blockchain. It's an international community, it's a very diverse community, and they've been great ambassadors to make those kinds of introductions. So you've heard a lot today. We've talked about consensus algorithms and distributed nodes and trustless networks, and I'm not going to talk about any of that. I want to talk about what you do tomorrow, what you do next week, where do you go with everything that we've talked about today. And hopefully that answer for you, and it's the answer for me, is hashed health, how we get there and what we're going to do next. So I'm going to skip over what the blockchain is. That's all day long, but I do want to highlight the benefits of a blockchain: reduced cost, increased speed, increased security, reduced fraud, reduced risk. All of these are core business values in the healthcare industry, and I think they are the impetus for us wanting to implement healthcare blockchain. How that takes shape and how do we do that is something that's very difficult to answer, but I want to do it. A number of the barriers and challenges around bringing blockchain to healthcare are, of course, technology. This is a very new technology. It's immature. We can stand up proofs of concept. Whether or not that's production grade or enterprise ready remains an open question. But I think technology is the smallest barrier to get over for implementing or bringing blockchain to the healthcare industry. I think regulation, the high level of regulation in healthcare, poses a significant challenge. I think when you see proof of concept stand up, the things you could do with blockchain in healthcare, until you remember HIPAA, until you remember all the reporting requirements, the audit logs, the evolving regulation around healthcare, and of course the awesome responsibility of holding on to protected health information means that we can't go lightly into data sharing arrangements that other industries might take for granted. But I think the final and the biggest barrier or hurdle to implementation of blockchain is the industry culture in healthcare. Healthcare benefits from holding on to their own data. Healthcare enterprises make entire business decisions, right? Their whole business operations is around holding on and maintaining governance of that data. And to come up with a technology that allows you to more seamlessly, more effortlessly share that data, to engage multiple stakeholders within and without your enterprise, to engage the patient in fundamentally new ways, is frankly frightening. And I think it's threatening to a lot of enterprises. However, I do think that blockchain isn't going to go away. In many ways, this is a foundational protocol technology similar to the protocols that underlie the internet. And I know people in 96 and 97 were saying, hey, I don't know about this internet thing, I might hold on. I think blockchain, in the same way, you might think it might go away, but I think it's going to stick around, and I think it's going to behoove us all to sort of pay attention to it and begin working on it now, even if we can't see the benefits, the same benefits that we see with other types of technology in healthcare. So what do we do about these barriers? Well, today, Martin Ventures is very proud to announce a new partnership, a new entity called Hashed Health. It's what you've been drinking coffee out of all day. Hashed Health is a collaborative healthcare innovation company bringing together leading healthcare enterprises to advance distributed ledger solutions for the unique issues and regulatory regime of the healthcare industry. Hashed Health leads a technology and vendor-neutral forum to identify, research, design, and engineer optimal, and most importantly, timely solutions for healthcare end users. Hashed Health is a consortium for healthcare enterprises across the spectrum of healthcare to come together to learn blockchain, to ideate those ideas that will solve concrete business problems in the healthcare industry, and to engineer those solutions and stand them up so that the healthcare industry as a whole can enter the blockchain age. Some of the key benefits of a consortium, and this is a question we hear a lot: why a consortium? I can hear the eyes rolling, if that's possible. A whole group of people are going to get together. We're going to mill around smartly. It's my favorite line from Charlie Martin. We're going to mill around smartly. We're going to look like thought leaders, but what's going to get done? I think given the maturity level of the blockchain stack, the key benefits of a consortium are organizational, learning and competence building. It's a very vaguely understood technology, the implications of it, how it gets stood up. I think there's an economic benefit to consortium. I think for anyone to sort of jump up and say, I'm going to invest hardcore in blockchain for my enterprise, I'm going to start building solutions tomorrow, might be a bit premature. I think an economic benefit of de-risking investment in this technology, de-risking the learning, and de-risking the implementation costs around it only benefit healthcare stakeholders. I think there's strategic benefits. Competition shaping. This is a pre-competitive technology. Preemption, product strategy, tech strategy, industry leadership. People who come to the table now will get to set the terms for how blockchain gets implemented, how it gets understood by other stakeholders. And I think there's a political and regulatory benefit for market development via development of standards and for influencing regulatory evolution to allow new technologies to operate in ways we haven't conceived before. So if those are the benefits of consortium, how will Hashed Health work? Hashed Health is composed of two key parts. The first part is a consortium of leading industry healthcare organizations who participate in working groups. Those working groups are designed around the concrete business problems that healthcare faces. Revenue cycle, supply chain, data sharing, payment reform, insurance, supply chain provenance for pharma, etc. These working groups will ideate new proof of concepts that we will then feed into the development studio that sits alongside. And the development studio is focused on developing the healthcare concepts with immediate commercial traction, including rev cycle, supply chain, consumerism, interoperability. We're focused on solving concrete problems that we know that the industry is facing. Hashed Health is composed of healthcare veterans who've worked in health systems, health IT startups, clinic businesses. We know the problems that healthcare is facing, and we want to be able to translate those business problems into blockchain language so that this technology serves you instead of the other way around. So consortium value here is member organizations from across the healthcare industry. And I think this makes this unique as opposed to consortiums you see on the financial side, is that we include a broad range of types of organizations, payers and providers, EMRs and other data companies, supply chain companies, revenue cycle companies and middlemen, pharma, services and consulting could all have a seat at the table to think and ideate on blockchain solutions to their business problems. The consortium will convene working groups that originate and refine those proof of concepts that we can then feed into the development studio for production. And we're planning on producing up to 4 POCs a year beginning in 2017 that prove immediate business value possible. I think we'll do some learning in that respect. I don't think everything's going to work. And I think the key value here is the speed to market of multiple proof of concepts and simultaneous development. I think enterprises that get started on their own fundamentally misunderstand the collaborative nature of the technology and will miss the boat on developing multiple proof of concepts at once. That investment for a single organization would be a barrier. And that slow development would also be a barrier to successful implementation of the technology. The consortium will allow members to benefit from multiple proof of concept development at the same time. See what works, see what doesn't, do that collaborative learning. On the development studio side, the development studio will participate in the development of essential protocol-level blockchain infrastructure for the healthcare environment. There'll be more on that in a second. Develop business-level applications and internal proof of concepts, full product development, and commercialization. We'll start with the proof of concept, and we'll quickly see what gets traction, what solves those problems, what gets an ROI for your enterprises, and we see the fastest course to enterprise-level development. We'll provide expertise for the Distributed Health Group Consortium and serve as a development studio alongside the consortium. In addition, the development studio will begin working on proof of concepts day one that we've ideated on our own and that we think are ready to be stood up and tested with a seed bed of participating consortium members. So where do we sit within this stack of blockchain? And I think this is a key value for Hashed Health. Hashed Health, we're announcing, is joining Hyperledgers as a founding member of the Healthcare Working Group to work on the protocol and library level to make sure that blockchain libraries and protocols have the prerequisites necessary for implementation in healthcare. That's open source work, and everyone's invited to participate. Not all enterprises will feel ready or willing or able to participate or to contribute code to that open source project, but we want to make sure that that open source project serves the needs of the healthcare community. Hashed Health will also partner with technical development partners, many of the companies you've seen today, to work on the API libraries, consensus algorithms, permission policies, and extensions. We want to be a vendor technology neutral forum to apply the best technology to fit the best use case. Not every chain or platform idea will work with every proof of concept. We don't want to try to control or generate a single chain for all of healthcare. I don't think that's possible. So we want to bring the best of breed of the development cycle out there into collaboration with the consortium members and with Hashed Health to generate those proof of concepts. But our development studio is going to sit at this top level, the business application layer, where the end user is going to interface with an application that communicates with the blockchain. And I think that's very crucial for healthcare. I think we've all seen HIT applications that come in and say, well, there's a lot of innovation here, but you're going to have to change your workflow significantly. And that just doesn't fly in healthcare. You can't tell the units in your hospital that they've got to substantially change the way they do things now to get a marginal benefit from the technology. If the technology is not adapted to the workflows and the expectations of the end users in healthcare, it doesn't matter how innovative the blockchain backend is, it's not going to fly. And we want to focus our development efforts at that top level, bringing in our partners and the open source community to make sure that we have a full stack that meets the needs, the unique needs and expectations of the healthcare community. So, founding members so far of the Healthcare Working Group, and this is not a complete list, it's growing all the time. Kaiser Permanente, GEM, who we saw today, IBM, Accenture, Hashed Health will be contributing code to that. So, what are you going to do tomorrow? What are you going to do next week in order to begin to bring your enterprises to blockchain, in order to bring blockchain into healthcare and to make your enterprises ready for a new way of transacting business, sharing data, and affecting change within healthcare? We believe Hashed Health can serve your needs, and we encourage you to reach out to Hashed Health. We're focusing between now and the end of the calendar year on forming the initial consortium membership, with a first consortium meeting taking place in Q1 of 2014, and the development studio gearing up for POC production in that same time frame. So we come from healthcare. We studied blockchain and saw the potential there, but we understood for that potential to be realized within our industry that we need to convene all the expertise in the room here to say what's the best implementation of this technology for the variety of business use cases that we see today. And we believe Hashed Health will be that forum, and we encourage you to reach out. Thank you very much.